Eric Pearson is now writing the script. He's the 6th writer to work on the project. Bro, it's a cool black dude killing vampires.
What's so difficult about that?
Like, that's not even it. The fucking first version of the movie, it was supposed to be Blade as a secondary character in his own film, training Dracula's daughter.
So it was gonna be Super Mario Bros. Before it was Super Mario Bros. Because that was supposed to be Super Peach movie. Some weird junk. Funny. Anyways, share. Probably gonna re-upload this whole thing on my secondary channel. 1 second.
How long do you think this podcast is gonna be?
I don't know. I mean, you know, if you feel like you're not gonna be here, you know, you can just leave whenever it's time for you to leave. I'm not tripping.
That feels like a threat. It's like, you can get the fuck out.
Showcase after party, I guess.
Oh, fuck me. That would involve me waking up at what time?
All right. I need food. My paycheck come.
What the fuck? 9 hours? The fuck? From right now? Wait, wake up at 8:30. Breakfast, shower.
All right. Also, I still have the goddamn game.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I gotta change this. Change this window.
What layout? What are you talking about? What are you doing over there?
He's doing the layout for the podcast since there's 3 of us.
Okay, we're gonna remove this, or hide it rather, and we're going to a media source.
Prestige is returning in Black Ops 6, so it was just announced that
All right.
Let's go!
First attack! Simply let's go! Simply let's
Keep making some noise. Ah, pa, 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 pa. So you can adjust the audio. I don't know.
Get it. Let's go!
just the fact that Infinite and Beyond has a dedicated team, which is like a stark contrast to Ultimate 3, which like we know like the big modders in the community, but not every mod comes from them, and not every mod release is as organized as we would like it to be.
Right.
Versus Infinite, we've got like Max giving us updates. We have Rin constantly asking the community. We have other known modders talking about, hey, I learned the tools, and I'm gonna be working on this project too. We've got a pro player and Erebus talking about, hey, I'm a part of this project. You know,
Right. Like, and Erebus is very in touch with the community and stuff too. I've talked with him. So like the Ryu changes that they showed off, like, oh, that's like those are changes that I personally proposed. So like it's nice that you got somebody like Erebus who has his ear to the ground, but he knows enough about the games. You're like, okay, this might be too much. Like we don't want to give the characters too goddamn much. It's supposed to be a small patch. We can't give, like Black Panther just like a bunch of crazy wonky stuff that he realistically might not need immediately.
Give this man a beam.
Give him a beam. Let's let him throw his cape.
I think the visual changes that Rin is making to the game is really cool. For me, it won't feel like something real and something tangible until we start getting UI mods.
Yeah.
I've installed mods for like Strive and KOF 15, and the UI mods available for both games really does a lot to like customize the experience. And I think once we see Infinite with like different health bars, different character select, different super bars, then it's really gonna feel like something special is happening.
Yeah, I agree. Because
I
it's
think
just
so
like,
far.
oh, you can go first.
I think so far what they're trying to do is just get the main problems out of the way. As the art style, making sure everything looks good first with the characters and the colors and the abstract of the game. Because that's something I noticed about in the stream too. Like they specified when it comes to like the Infinity Storms, for example, when you activate Infinity Storm, they made the colors a lot more seeable, so then people won't get so blinded by like all the effects and shit like that.
Oh yeah.
So
that was
I
kind.
know
And they
they're-
said that was kind of like a consequence of like them messing around with like the models themselves, because the models themselves are so bright and colorful, and it actually makes them much easier to keep track of in the storms. Also, what's up, TMC?
Yo, TMC.
And so that's the one change I really like about Infinity Storms. They, even if it's without the art style, that change alone makes things a lot more seeable for a lot of people.
Right.
Speaking of change, no, go ahead.
I personally like, even like during just the general cycle MVCI, I never really had an issue with that, but I can understand why thousands of people hated like Infinity Storms just because of the visual clarity being so bad.
I'm not gonna lie, I hate it. And I've been playing the game for 6 years at this point. I hate it.
Wait, what do you hate? You hate the change to Infinity Storms, or you hate Infinity Storms prior to the change?
Prior to the change, just in terms of how they looked,
Okay.
I actually hated it.
Okay. Bro, if you want to talk about hating visuals about MVCI, we could just write a laundry list of things.
Like, bruh. It's just like, cause it's like the visuals of the game was not enough to stray me away from it. But like, sometimes the visuals can be like so distractingly bad that it actually interferes with actual gameplay, like the Infinity Storms specifically. It's just visual barf all over the place, and it just makes it hard for like imagine trying to block Chun-Li wearing dark clothes in Power Storm. You're not blocking that shit. like you're not blocking that shit.
Yeah, the fucking it's so funny because like, for MVCI, it feels like they absolutely cooked when making the gameplay, and then just bullshitted their way through everything else.
Of course. Capcom even admitted like their budget wasn't the highest with the game in the first place.
It was about as much as one season of Street Fighter V DLC.
I don't know if I want to take Capcom's complaint about a low budget at face value, because other developers have done more with less.
Power Rangers.
Bro, oh my god. I know this podcast isn't about Power Rangers, and I'm sorry, but there's a mod that puts combo trials into Power Rangers Battle for the Grid right now.
They don't have that?
It did not have that.
Huh.
The community
That's
came together
weird.
and made it.
That's pretty cool.
It's super cool. I can't wait to dive in. But like, going back to topic, um, like I don't know if I want to take that complaint at face value because Capcom, like we know, like we can complain about Capcom, whatever the fuck. We know that they're super capable, so I don't trust them when they say, "Oh, we couldn't do X, Y, and Z because we didn't have enough money."
Right.
Well, it's not even that. It's more so. It's just that it's part of the problem. I'm not saying like it's completely Capcom's fault. I say more so if anything it's Disney or Marvel's fault because they planted in Capcom's face. Hey, no good art style. Hey, you have to use MCU characters. Hey, no X-Men. Hey, no this. Hey, no that. You know, they
Capcom
definitely
just
control
ran
the
with it.
hell out of Capcom.
You want to know? You want to know the interesting correlation between Marvel versus Capcom and the MCU? Prior
What?
to a lot of what was planned for the MCU, a lot of what would become the MCU is in Ultimate. Have you
Yeah.
ever noticed that?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
noticed that.
funny.
Like fucking like Rocket Raccoon,
Doctor
Doctor
Strange,
Strange. That shit
Dormammu,
is
even.
Like a lot
Yeah,
of I
Dormammu.
think it's because a lot of it was kind of like pre-planned because they were gearing up for that type of stuff. It was just like a
I
long
mean-
time plan, maybe. But it was
mean-
2011. You know, Guardians was like about
What
3 years ahead.
well, the game came out in 2011, but it was developed like way before that.
Yeah, way before that. Like
So
2009.
like so yes. So if you wanna like put it into perspective, let's say like 2010 the earliest, right? What fucking Marvel movie was out in 2010?
Iron
Captain
Man
America,
2.
Thor, right?
Captain America and Thor wasn't even out till 2011. Iron Man 2 was the only movie that was out that year.
That's insane.
Yeah, there was only one Marvel movie out that year, and that was Iron Man.
Hmm.
So it's just like it was still. They also had some weird roster choices like X-23. No offense, DCO, but like X-23, MODOK was weird, but he was weird in a goofy way that kind of made him interesting.
Waste of a slot. Fuck MODOK.
But like I don't know, like it's just, like She-Hulk was weird. Like we could have gotten Daredevil, or we couldn't gotten like even Scarlet Witch. Like I could think of plenty of alternatives over She-Hulk and even MODOK, and I like MODOK.
Yeah, we definitely could have gotten some better characters, in my opinion, but it is what it is in hindsight.
I guess it is. Marvel 3's roster, UMVC 3's roster is pretty good.
You know what's interesting though is I wonder how if it's possible for in the future if they ever add more characters in MVCI to backport effects into Marvel Infinite.
Oh, I
Yeah,
100%
say
believe they can
import.
do that.
I mean, because
As long as
it's
they-
Unreal Engine. Like they definitely could if they wanted to.
I fully expect to see Wolverine in Infinite before the end of the year. 100%.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's crazy that they managed to get all this done in like a month. Like that's bonkers to me.
That's-
Like imagine how much they
that-
could get done in 3 or even 5.
That is the power of fucking a bunch of modders knowing how to work Unreal, honestly. And it's like but that's precisely what I meant like earlier when I said that a lot of the mods coming should be a lot better than what we're getting with Ultimate. And like don't get me wrong, the Ultimate mods are peak. But like because you don't have to worry about reverse engineering a fucking program and relying on word of mouth and documents that you can't even like really easily find to try to mod things. Fucking Unreal tutorials, you can Google that shit on Google right now.
Like there's so much documentation on Unreal Engine that it's just like the process in modding Unreal Engine not easy, but it's definitely much more doable.
Yeah, it's way easier.
It's way easier
than fucking
in
what
comparison to MT Framework because there's not enough documentation on it, at least for Marvel 3's engine.
And that's the thing though is like I'm like you guys said, you know, don't get me wrong, UMVC 3 mods are great overall. It's just you're so much more limited with what you can do with that engine compared to like Unreal. And I even said to Ren like years ago, I was like, Ren, like when I was seeing our other mods, I was like, yo, like try to get into MVCI, like that community like desperately needs like good mods and
If
people to be able to port characters over to different games and shit. I was like, just do it for MVCI. Like I didn't even say for our style. I was just saying just for adding characters.
if
At least something.
I if I had a dollar for every single time I spoke with the fucking I guess quote unquote the big names in the Ultimate Marvel 3 Discord about potentially coming to MVCI, if I had a dollar for every time, I'd have so much fucking money. Every single time I expressed interest, I was like, hey, you know, there's this other game that would be much easier to mod for. It still has a dedicated community, despite the fucking public reception. It's still incredibly popular. I was told no every time, not just because they were disinterested, but because they just inherently didn't like the game.
They just actively despise MVCI, you know?
Yeah, with the MVC3 community now, they like Devo said, they just hate the game in general. Like I remember going to VC in that community like 2 weeks back, and they were like, "Oh, you know, the MVCI mods are cool, but you know they're all right." You know, like they were like eat niche about it because in my opinion, in my humble opinion, I think they know that they're gonna be freaking outplayed like pretty soon. I mean, they're already doing shit in the game what you can't really do in UMC 3, or at
Bro,
least that's polished.
I it's funny. I saw what Nice did for Skullgirls. I don't know if you guys know. Um, Skullgirls made it nigh impossible to make your own custom colors with PowMod. The developers did everything that they could to stop that from happening. Nice was a part of the Blaze Blue modding Discord. He still is, and he just went like dark for a little bit and came back with a tool that would allow you to crack open Skullgirls and make your own custom colors.
No,
I
because
remember thinking,
he's probably like fuck that community at this point. They, you know, it's so funny about Skullgirls because the people that are in that community don't even play the fucking game.
no, they don't. Um, so I remember seeing him do that for Skullgirls, and I was like, I told him, I go, bro, Infinite could use somebody like you, and I got the same thing. He wasn't interested, right? I was like, damn, whatever, okay. Max put out the bounty, and I immediately went to Nice. I was like, bro, Infinite could use somebody like you, and he was like, damn, I don't fucking like this game. I have no interest in Marvel, but that money though.
That money,
But that
though.
money,
I
though.
then I then told him, I go, bro, there's a Discord dedicated to Ultimate Marvel 3 modding. Let me send you an invite so you can communicate with these guys. He was like, I don't know. I don't potentially want to share that money with anybody. I was like, bro, communicate with them, please. He was like, fine. He finally broke. He was like, fine, send me the invite. I sent them the invite. I told them what he did to Skullgirls, and they were like, oh shit. Let's like, is he in here right now? I was like, yes. I tagged him everything. He's in here right now. Please communicate with this guy because he's a fucking mad scientist. This dude is insane. Please talk to him. And then I saw that he accepted the bounty, and I was just like, yes, that felt so good.
No, he's
It,
cracked. Like the fact that he was like, of
So
course, so
cracked.
it makes sense that he was brought on for MVCI and beyond. Like the fact that he managed to
I
get
cannot. I'm
the,
sorry.
I know, but the fact that he managed to get like the cross fever joint going is crazy. The fact that he managed to get freaking 4-player 2v2 going like with tag and stuff like that. The fact that he managed to get all of that going is insane. It just makes me wonder what else he could accomplish within such an easy engine like Unreal.
Bro, the other modders are so talented, but having Nice directly involved with Infinite and Beyond is literally fucking game changing. I cannot wait to see what he cooks. The 2v2 is cool, but I know he could do more with that fucking with that engine.
and
Absolutely.
I also hope that you know they take away the down inputs. I'm just praying on that.
I don't think.
I think they already want to do that,
Yeah, they
right?
already want to do that more than likely, but I don't think they're going to do that specifically. Maybe because I know there are people in the community like Stylo. She really likes down inputs for Chun Li, but I'm just like,
She's a
man, like man, like I don't know, but that's just like it's not a knock against style. It's just I guess some people have their preferences. I personally don't like it, but I
I
feel
don't like
like
it
that's
either.
something that's probably going to get changed. Um,
Oh, you know what? They can make that an option.
Mm-hmm.
What if they make that an option in the option setting in the controller settings, and it's like remove down inputs, and it's like it gives you kind of like a brief description saying like if you remove this, you have to do DPs for every move, but you get access to like wave dashing shit like that, and they
I
enable it or they disable it and be like default MVCI down inputs.
I feel like that could be something like in the options menu, but just in case it's not like they're not able to do that, maybe they could just have like a separate download. It's like here's the mod with down, here's the mod with fucking DP input.
Fair enough.
I
It's
feel like
just
that's not a bad compromise.
it's just so weird to me how like they were able to adjust. I'm not sure how they switched it from like the tag with player 1 through 4, then to like clash mode. I don't know what they did, but where did it just go in the options or some shit?
not sure.
Because
I have no idea.
they first showed off, just like just the 1v1, but like all 4 controllers were usable. Like player 2 and player 1 were on left, 3 and 4 were on right. And then like the next like 2 matches, it was like the full on clash mode, like in Marvel One. So
Yeah,
if that
cross
was
fever.
adjusted in, yeah, cross fever. So if they did that in the options, then that's why I think it's definitely possible for that down DP thing I was talking about.
Yeah, I
I
definitely
mean, like,
think it's possible. I'm not too sure.
yeah, because like this game's an Unreal. I feel like anything they want to do, like they could just fucking do.
I mean, like, cause look at Street Fighter Five. We got fucking Fei Long and Dudley in the game. So like, is
Got,
that anything
got
is possible?
Street Fighter Five Dudley's insane.
All
So,
they needed to do is just add character like a clone engine. That's all they needed to do for Street Fighter
like
5.
actual character slots. They said that Baxter's like we've already thought about that. We already think about that. Just sit tight.
I think they're already working on it because it's a
Yeah,
team involved.
yeah. Max said he got like 20 something people involved, which is crazy. That's a lot for just a modded project, just one modded project. That's a lot, man. Like he
I
said
really want
we
to.
have an art team, we have a UI team, we have a art style which is manned by Ren. Like obvious Erebus is handling like gameplay changes. Like we have a big team. Like he even said that like there were people in the industry that were involved, like fucking Keats.
Bro, I'm really surprised that that Keats said that publicly because I feel like he's one of the people on the team that Max cannot name directly. I
Yeah,
I, I feel like Keats is on the
absolutely.
team right now.
Yeah, I absolutely think so. I really think
Yeah,
so.
too many people, man.
Yeah, Keats is absolutely wild for fucking saying that shit publicly.
And
Yeah,
even
it's
then,
20
like
people.
Max's team for MVCI Beyond has like actual like fighting game devs in there, or most likely. Can't assume it, but
Yeah, I think
that
Infinite
part
is
alone
in.
is actually insane.
I think Infinite is in the right hands right now, man. I really do. I really do. Like, this is like the best place that Infinite is kind of in, like could be in because of the fact that it's going to finally become the game that we all wanted it to be in the first place, and it's going to be free while the game is on sale. Like, come on now, you can't beat that. Get the game now. You're going to get it as a full price game, like a year from now. like you can't beat that, bro.
But
I
can really download this version of the game with Magneto and M Bison. That's going to be coming this weekend. Not sure exactly what day of the weekend, but it's going to be released this weekend.
Yes, it will be released this weekend.
somebody asked about MVCX.
Yes.
Yeah.
And speaking of VCX, I kind of wanted to get into like game design stuff, but not like technical stuff, but like gameplay design philosophy, if that's fine.
Depending on who's listening, you can talk about your thoughts going into Wolvenom, the best character in the game.
This motherfucker. It's not. Yeah, that is a proper dev team for MVCI. It is like 20 people. That's a really good dev team for a big mod project. That's really good.
20 people, like besides Max, like I don't know if Max counts himself amongst the 20 people, but 20 people that know how to fucking use Unreal, that's crazy.
Absolutely.
Well, he's more so like a director, like how I am for the music direction and MVCOH.
That makes sense.
Yeah, like he's gonna be like, like he's kind of like the executive producer, I guess you could say. Like he's got people like an art team, he's got a UI team, stuff like that. Not everybody's gonna have experience in Unreal, but there's gonna be people contributing specific assets to the project to be used in the Unreal Engine. So that's what I think he means by having like a team of like 20 people. It's like they're people handling different departments. So, and with the change to the art style, like, we're going to be seeing characters come out a lot faster now. That's another thing too. Which is crazy.
The one thing I hope is after it's done, they're like, be able to add characters or like that. And when other people want to add their characters, I hope they have some sort of like downloadable template.
Oh yeah.
I hope so. I hope they don't gatekeep that.
I doubt it. I don't know. Like, it's
So
more than
then
likely
people
they're going to
are-
try to have as many fucking characters in the game as they can. Like, I would kill to play Iron Fist in MVCI. I would kill for that shit. And him not be ass? Like, I would kill for that.
For me, all I want is just to even out the Marvel Capcom roster, and then that's all I want. Just make it look even.
Right. As you should. But, I have an outline. Let's see. So, besides MVCI and beyond, I also kind of wanted to talk about MVCX stuff. I was mostly going to be talking about, like, game design stuff, character design philosophies, and how I was going to change them up to fit within MVCX. So, I got about 4 characters. I got Ryu, Gambit, Jill, and Iron Fist because they were the first 4 characters for MVCX. So we're gonna start with Ryu because obviously he was the first, and I'm not biased at all. I'm not biased at all. So first we gotta talk about history in the Versus series. Then after that, his gameplay design, current tier list, and if I'm satisfied with where he is right now. So,
Okay.
So let's talk about Ryu in the history of the Versus series. First, let me do this first. Let me change it up. If I can. Which I probably can't.
Well, since we're talking about past games, I'm gonna look up a few things.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up some things. Just pull up Eternity of Heroes, because why not? So, we're gonna start with Ryu in X-Men vs Street Fighter, right? So, obviously, when talking about Ryu, he's like literally the granddaddy of fighting games. Like, let's be real here. He's an old head. He's an OG. Been doing this since before y'all was even in Pampers type shit. But like he's been doing the same moves since '94, whenever the fuck Street Fighter 2 came out, '92.
Well, Street Fighter 2, 1991.
91. All right, yeah, been doing the same shit since '91. Technically since Fighting Street, but we don't talk about that. But he's got his Fireball, DP, Tatsu, a complimentary donkey kick in in Street Fighter 3. Um, but in X-Men vs Street Fighter, you know, he's pretty much the same thing. It's just he's hyper stylized. That was like the first time he was actually like, oh, this is Ryu, but he's fucking bonkers, quote unquote. You know, so
Mhm.
and Ryu's whole gameplay design philosophy is that he's like well-rounded, like kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none type thing. Like he can do most things decently well. But he's usually beginner friendly. He's there to teach you the fundamentals of the game that you're playing. Like that's what Ryu has always been. So, and he's been that way in every versus game, except that his effectiveness has always varied depending game to game. So X-Men vs Street Fighter, I remember Ryu being pretty good, like not top tier or anything. He wasn't bottom tier. He was like a high mid tier character, I think, right?
Let me look that up real quick. Mm,
Like he was a high mid tier. Yeah, some disjointed buttons. Because X-Men vs Street Fighter was kind of played kind of like a 1v1 ish, but it wasn't a 1v1. It was 2v2, but there was no assists.
He was in the mid tier.
He was a mid tier, yeah. So he was a nice little middle of the road character. Had really good damage, really good. You know, obviously had really easy corner infinite.
I'm back. I apologize.
Oh, what's up? We were talking about MVCX stuff. Talking
Nice. I
about.
was sneezing my brains out, so I
Ugh.
missed all of it.
Oh, it's okay. We're talking about characters and you know, character design philosophy, and I got 4 characters lined up. We're talking about Ryu first, because I'm not biased at all,
Okay.
and I'm not biased at all, and he was technically the first character for MVCX. So we're talking
Makes
about
sense.
his history in the Versus series,
Mm.
and how he varied from game to game, and what we can learn from it.
I will say, as a young lad, so late middle school, early high school, the idea of doing a combo with Ryu, transitioning into an air combo, to then doing a Shinko Hadouken to end the combo, was always the sickest shit I could ever think of, and it's like the epitome of what the first series is for me.
Yeah, like Ryu's like always that gateway character to like give you an idea on how crazy this game actually could be, but it's not even the craziest it could be. And in X-Men vs Street Fighter, yeah, that absolutely like that was like the first time we realized, oh, this is not Street Fighter at all. This is something different. This is some wild ass shit.
This is peak.
This is peak, exactly. Like Ryu was like a solid mid tier in that game. Like literally mid. Wasn't bad. Wasn't super great. He was solid. You know, high. I think he was like a high mid tier. Like I think he was in the same tier as like not Guile, Charlie and Sabretooth, I think. Practically.
Mhm.
Yeah, so yeah, he's right next to he's in between Sabretooth and Akuma with Rogue, Gambit, and Nash. So yeah.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with the character being mid.
Yeah, because it's Ryu. Like he's literally the middle of the road character, just design wise, idealistically. Unless it's Street Fighter 6, where that motherfucker is top tier now. So, but we ain't gonna talk about that. And then Marvel vs Street Fighter is essentially just a stripped down version of X-Men vs Street Fighter, right? Like just took out most of what made X-Men vs Street Fighter fun. Still a fun game, but it's just fun in different ways. It's just not. It doesn't capture the same magic as X-Men vs Street Fighter did. Ryu does get new stuff. He gets access to Shin Shoryu in that game, and I think it costs 1 bar. I don't remember if it cost a bar, or if it costs 3. But it's a super damaging super. It's just horrible range and just super short range. But he was mostly the same, you know. Decent ground mobility, really solid ground mobility, just no air movement outside of top 2 and fireball. and Beam. That's really about it. He's like a mid tier in that game too. Like Ryu's mid tier in most of the games until Marvel 2. Like Marvel 1, he got the mode change, which was really cool, but that was mostly to accommodate for the fact that Ken and Akuma weren't in the game.
But I think it's a really cool accommodation.
It is a really cool idea. It was a really cool idea, regardless, because it's just like it makes Ryu stand out in a way that he really could be played in a versatile amount of ways.
It makes Ryu stand out from a gameplay perspective, but you're also not clogging the roster with other Shotos.
It's really well designed. It's extremely well designed. And then we get to Marvel 2.
Yeah,
where it's
Kusuria's
arguably
game.
the worst iteration of Ryu. Now, here's my thing. I like to measure how fun a
Worst
game
of the Versus
is.
series.
Yeah. Wait, what?
I said worst game of the Versus series.
We're not even gonna get into that debate right now.
Just saying.
We ain't gonna get into that debate right now. I like to measure a game with by how fun Ryu is. Now that might sound weird, right? Sounds weird, but I say that because if you can build a game like around Ryu should be able to fully express why this game is so fun in the first place. You play Marvel 2 Ryu, you don't really get that feeling. Marvel 2 is fun, but it's fun when you're only playing certain characters. Like you get hints of what characters can do, like with the Tiger Knees and stuff like that, Super Jump Cancel. But very few characters can really fully take advantage of that. Ryu is not one of those characters. Like it's very specific, and this is a problem that will eventually run into in Marvel 3. So Marvel 2, while it is like a fun game at certain levels of play, it's just like the gameplay system I don't think is as well designed as, or like refined, I should probably say, as I feel like it could have been.
There's a lot about that game that isn't really well designed.
But like I still think it's one of the most important additions to the Versus series, and it's still a fun game, especially the fun game to watch. But mostly of what you're going to see for peak Marvel 2 is usually at the highest level, maybe mid tier 2, but you're not really going to see Ryu in that spot. So, but we get to Marvel 3. Marvel 3, Ryu is pretty bad. I ain't gonna lie, better than he was in Marvel 2, but he's pretty bad.
I'd say he's kind of worse than Marvel 2 in certain ways, in my opinion.
He's worse than Marvel 2?
Yeah, like if we're doing game to game, I mean, honestly, Ryu is kind of a lot worse because the tier list I'm looking at right now is way lower of a position he is than what he is in Marvel 2. Like in Marvel 3, like he's like, let me see, 1, 2, 3, he's bottom 6.
Jesus.
Well, here's the thing. A big reason why Ryu is bad in Marvel 3 is the fact that like he's not a horrible character on paper. It's just the fact that like the system doesn't allow for his basic tools to like he just doesn't mesh well with the system of Marvel 3. He's an expensive character to play. Like you really gotta like just lean super heavily on like X Factor and assists, and that's fine if you gotta lean on assists, but at the same time you got characters like Magneto or Doctor Doom, even Virgil, who can be self-sufficient. That assists are kind of like an incentive for them. It's not really a necessity, if that makes any sort of sense.
Yeah, like Ryu, like you need an assist, you need X Factor, you need gimmicks.
Like Ryu just doesn't have enough gimmicks. Like he doesn't stand out at all. That's been his problem since Marvel 2, is that he just didn't stood out. And especially since the mechanics just didn't really help that much either.
I was gonna say, other than a certain game I wish you brought up was TVC.
That's right. I forgot TVC existed. No offense to TVC. Ryu was amazing in TVC, but at the same time, he like what you're gonna be seeing Ryu do is just air dash, jump heavy, air dash, jump heavy, air dash, Tatsu, falls like a rock, and then does jump heavy. Like,
And then, like his Tasu, I think it's the best Tasu he ever has. Honestly, is TVC Tasu because it's a heavy knockdown.
yeah, it's a hard knockdown. His fireball game is like, oh, is like you're really gonna see Ryu players throw fireballs. Gonna be completely honest. You're not gonna see Ryu players throw fireballs at TVC like that.
But it's the assist fireball.
Yeah, the
That's
assist
how-
fireball is amazing. Like, it's probably the best version of his fireball as an assist in any other games. Like, it's an incredible assist. Ryu in TVC is just good, but at the same time, it's just like he just doesn't feel inherently too much like Ryu, if that makes any sense, because of the fact that like he's so aggressive, and that's not exactly Ryu's thing. He's just mad aggressive in that game. But yeah, UMVC 3, he gets some changes. But like I was saying, like Marvel 2 Ryu is horrible. But the only reason why Marvel 2 Ryu is placed slightly higher than UMVC 3 Ryu is because they're just characters that are way worse than him. He's fucking horrible in Marvel 2. He's bottom tier. But there are characters who are way more bottom tier than he is. Like, those characters are borderline unplayable. Like, Ryu he fucking sucks in Marvel 2, but there are characters who just, like, you fucking, just pick a different character at this point. Don't even, you lost that character, so you lost as soon as you picked up the controller.
And
Like,
it's so funny because even in like Marvel 2 Ryu, like it's funny that Marvel 2 Ryu is better than Marvel 2 Chun Li. That's
Which
so
is-
funny to me.
which is crazy to me.
That
But,
speaks
That's
volumes
super
about how
rare.
fucking dog shit the balance in that game is.
yeah, I can attest to that. But Marvel 3 Ryu is like, he's bad. But it's like you could make him work. I mean, Ray has proven that. Vortex proven that to a much greater degree. Like, there are Ryu players who like prove that this character can be like solid, but it's just that, bro, you got to play the game 10 times harder than everybody else. And that's always been kind of Ryu's problems. Like, you got to play the game way harder than everybody else in order to succeed in the Versus series. And then Marvel Infinite rolls around, and it's probably, I've gone on record about this many times, it's my favorite version of Ryu in any of the games. At first I didn't like him because I wasn't in tune with Marvel Infinite's gameplay engine. I played Spidey Venom for like the first fucking year of the game. Like, first year of my experience with the game. And I played Ryu Venom like in June of 2019, and I just played Ryu from then onwards. And then I started to slowly fall in love with the character, and I ended up getting better at MVCI and at fighting games in general because of him. So Ryu and MVCI taught me a lot about just character design philosophies and stuff like that. Like, he made me appreciate how fun Marvel Infinite was in general. So that's why I was like, if Ryu's not fun, then I'm probably not gonna like this game, because like it's a very telling sign when, if you're having fun with the most basic fucking character, this game is fucking amazing. That's just how I see it. Like, it tells you a lot about the game's design philosophy, and he's not a bad character either. He's actually pretty solid in Marvel Infinite. Like I say this, General Ryu is bottom tier, but a high tier Ryu player can put him in like bottom 10. Like, he goes from bottom 5 to bottom 10 in the right hands. So like he's close to being perfect in Marvel Infinite. And I like, he's like my spirit animal in that game. Like, I think Marvel Infinite really made me love Ryu. So, and I wanted to translate that love to MVCX, and that's why we're going to get into his gameplay design.
Speaking of transferring your love to your game because of MVCI, I don't think I've ever told you this before. Your work on Spider-Man for MVCX made me a better Spider-Man player for MVCI.
I believe it, and it makes sense because like I now through and through I'm a Ryu player, but I was a Spider-Man player first. Like I played Spider-Man 3. I liked him in 3. He was just really difficult. Um and I liked him. I like him ish in Infinite. I just don't like him as much as I used to because like I felt like Spider-Man didn't challenge me enough as a player. Like that's just me. You know, it's nothing against the character. Like I've actually warmed up to Spider-Man a lot more in Marvel Infinite since I played him again recently. Um, he's fun. It's just like he's not challenging enough to me. That's why I like Panther so much. Um, but in terms of like translating Spider-Man over, it's just like I really wanted a version of Spider-Man that I think anybody would enjoy. People who played the old games, people who played Marvel 3, people who played Marvel Infinite. I wanted a universal Spider-Man for people to gravitate towards. And I wanted the same thing for Ryu. I wanted something for old heads and new players and people who love Marvel 3, Marvel 2. Fuck it. I don't give a fuck. I ain't mad. But
Iron Man.
but when it came to designing Ryu, the whole goal was like, I'm gonna make this character not dog shit. I'm gonna make him not bad, but I also want to make him stand out enough and have his own unique set of tools to give people a reason to actually play him. Because it's like, why play Ryu when you got Captain America? It's just better Ryu. Why play Ryu when you can play Scott Summers? That's just better Ryu. That's literally the case of Marvel 2. Marvel 2 is just Cyclops is just Marvel 2 Ryu, but better. He's literally the Ryu of Marvel 2. So I didn't want to put Ryu into that position again. So I wanted to give him as many tools as possible. Some old, some new. Like there's like give Ryu an air dash, and I was like, I'm not gonna do that per se. I'm gonna give him like extended air mobility options because of the fact that it just makes sense. Like, you know, I wanted to, and I didn't want to give him a traditional air dash. I wanted to lock it behind a special move because it's just like it makes sense for Ryu's stronger aspects to be locked behind his specials because that's what you think of when playing Ryu. You think of Hadouken and all that shit.
It makes sense. It makes sense for the kit that he has at his disposal that he wouldn't have access to a normal air dash. You'd have to do the Hadouken first because that's what the character is.
Exactly.
You would have to commit to the quarter circle forward input first, and then get rewarded for canceling it.
Exactly. That's really what I wanted. I wanted Ryu to not be like, because if I was to give Ryu a traditional box dash, niggas would not stop box dashing with him. We just get TVC Ryu all over again. You know? So that's why I was like, I'm going to make them actually work to get like that extended mobility. Not too hard, but like if you've seen a Ryu doing the air dash cancel stuff, like his movement is pretty clean. Like it's pretty like slippery. Pause. So like I wanted Ryu to be like a proper versatile character instead of just like a versatile Shoto, but just a versatile character in general. Decent air mobility, decent ground mobility, solid fireballs and zoning. He has a good beam. He has invul reversals, meterless. Tatsu's a really good anti-projectile tool and a good mobility tool. Like I wanted to make sure Ryu stood out enough while still feel true to who the character is and what he was designed to be from the get-go. So, like, and I wanted him to be like, you know, because MVCX is also designed with a competitive mindset in mind. Like, I wanted to be like, if you pick Ryu at high level, it's not a bad pick. Like, you can pick Ryu at high level and do well. Like, instead of having to fucking struggle, you know, like he does in every other game he's in. So, like, in the current tier list, that we worked on, Ryu's like B tier. Like, that's honestly where he needs to be at. He doesn't need to be A or S tier. He doesn't need to be fucking C or D tier. Just be B. Like, just be. Like, that's
BB.
that's where he needs to go. Like, that's because honestly, it's just him being middle of the road. It's like it makes sense. Like, you know, we shouldn't call him ordinary guy because he can't do any of the stuff that other characters can. just call him ordinary guy because he literally fits. He's like middle class. Make him a middle class man.
That's really funny.
Like, you know, make him a middle class working man. You know, so like, but yeah, like I just like I want to hear some of y'all thoughts on like Ryu and MVCX or whatever.
I think because it's like I like MVCX isn't the perfect game. Like no game is perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like there's a lot about MVCX that I do like, and just thinking about it sometimes, like randomly, or if I'm like committed to the thought, it's astounding what you've been able to do just by yourself as one person. And being a tester for as long as I have, I feel pretty confident in saying that MVCX Ryu is probably the one of the best versions of Ryu we will ever get. And I'm not saying that to like flatter you or to like butter you up because I know you and like we're friends or whatever the fuck. Like legitimately, I think MVCX Ryu is very clearly one of the best iterations of Ryu we have ever gotten.
I think, with my opinion on MVCX Ryu, I think it's pretty close to Reku's opinion as well. Like, it's a very strong version of Ryu that we'll probably never get in an official Capcom game because
There's no way we're gonna get it.
Like in Marvel vs. Capcom wise, like we'll never get a Ryu like that. Neither in like another game like EOH, you know, you're just never gonna see that. The only thing that will make Ryu top tier in is Street Fighter, you know, just like what happened with Street Fighter 6, where they made him a top tier. And it gives you a learning lesson that like as long as Ryu is bad fucking ass in a game, you know a game's gonna be fucking good. Like even look, I know this is more so Marvel vs. Capcom, but you gotta look at the overall history with the character. Like Street Fighter 5 is a shit game. Guess what? Ryu's a pretty bad character in that game. Ryu is actually pretty decent in Street Fighter 4, and guess what? USF 4 is a good game. Street Fighter 3, one of the greatest games of all time, and guess what? Ryu's like top 10 in that game. Amazing with Dungeon. And then you look at something as simple as Street Fighter 2, where all he is Mr. Hadouken, Shoryuken. Like, in that game is considered one of the GOATs, you know?
Yeah, Super Turbo Ryu is really good. Like top 5, I think.
So when you take all that into account into MVCX Ryu, not only you show like the pure fundamentals of the character being functional, but you also expanded on the idea of how can we make them fun? How can I make Ryu where people who play usually like Akuma or Ken will like playing Ryu as well? You got, like I say, both of you and Space like cover that answer pretty damn well. And for Capcom standards, like they can't even figure that out properly, and somehow you know y'all two did exactly that. You know, without giving them like unnecessary tools, like giving them like 50 combo extenders and giving them natural air dash. You know, I love TVC Ryu, but that shouldn't really count.
Yeah, like
So that.
yeah, I like. I know y'all say y'all wasn't trying to flatter me, but I appreciate that because it not only makes me feel like, oh, you know, I did a thing, but no, it's just like if I feel like my goal was like complete, you know, because like I said, like I wanted to show how badass of a game MVCX can be by just showing you how fun the most basic character can be in the MVCX's system. Like he can do pretty much anything every other character can do. Like, and I wanted to make sure of that. Like even in like you said, like when Street Fighter 5 Ryu, like at first he was like, Street Fighter 5 was kind of whatever, and then near the end of the at the end of the game's lifespan, Ryu was actually a pretty fun character in that game. He's pretty fun, and it kind of shows you, it kind of gives you an idea of what place Street Fighter 5 was in at that point. It's like Street Fighter 5 is an actual video game now, so Ryu, like, you know, being as fun as he was like, okay, you know, Street Fighter 5 is pretty much come around now. And Street Fighter 6 Ryu's, like, I remember first trying him in the beta, and I was like, this character is actually incredible. He's so fucking fun in Street Fighter 6. Like, oh my god. Like, it was a testament to how fun Street Fighter 6 is as a game. You know, it's a fun game. And, like, it's just, like, Ryu in particular just really showed me that. And that's really what I wanted. I wanted people to see, like, yeah, this game is awesome. Just look at what Ryu alone can do, and now look at what everybody else can do. Like, that should give you a very clear indication on how fun the game actually is. And I'm glad that I managed to attain that goal. And I'm pretty satisfied with where Ryu is right now, just gameplay design wise. I really don't think I need to change anything else. Like, for the final stages of Ryu, like, he got Hashogeki, he got Denjin mode, like, he's got a shit ton of combo routes now. Like, Ryu is just, this is like the definitive Ryu to me in MVCX. There's nothing else I would change. I wouldn't change a damn thing about him. So,
Yeah, I think so as well. I think he's at the perfect spot.
like, I think at the end of it all, he's still going to be a really good character. Like, you could always come back to Ryu and, like, oh, this character's got sauce. And that's something that you can't really say for Ryu in most other games. So, but yeah, like, it's Ryu in a nutshell. Let's move on to fucking Gambit. It's been terrorizing MVCX for fucking years now. And now he's an actual normal character. So, Gambit and MVCX was a top tier for a very long time. I'm not gonna lie. He was top tier AF. I don't know how I let that slide for as long as I did, but he was. Well, we're not going to talk about that immediately. Let's talk about his history. So Gambit showed up in X-Men vs. Street Fighter first. He was alright. I think he was pretty good, right? Like, he was mid-tier, mid-high tier, I think, like you said, Blue.
Yeah, he was.
Like, he's pretty good in X-Men vs. Street Fighter, but I don't think he was a character that you saw an extreme amount of, I don't think. At least from what I've seen. But I know he's pretty solid in X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Marvel 1. Yeah, Marvel 1.
B-tier.
He was B tier?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had that fuck ass Infinite, right?
Yeah, mainly for that, but he was basically damn near the same as X-Men vs. Street Fighter, you know?
Yeah.
He didn't really need a lot of balancing other than, like, fixing the infinites and shit.
Yeah, like, he's always been, like, a really easy character to play in the games. He's never been difficult. And then Marvel 2, he's like a mid-tier. Another mid-tier. Another character that you rarely seen. And then he just wasn't in Marvel 3. Technically speaking. He is now, but he wasn't in it before. But in terms of Gambit was the second character I worked on for VCX because I really wanted to work on Gambit. Like, I remember thinking at the time, I want an X-Men character, but I really want to work on, like, Gambit in particular. Because Gambit is just, like, one of the sickest fucking X-Men of all time. Like, X-Men 97 proved that shit. Like, like, it literally showed you, like, bro, this dude is fucking cracked if he wanted to be. So, working on Gambit, I was like, I really want to make him just super combo heavy. That's really what I wanted. I wanted a combo heavy character. He was going to be like the first character in the series that was, or in MVCX, that was going to have like hella combos. And Ryu had hella combos, but Gambit was like, this is wall bounce, ground bounce, man. Like, this is wall bounce, ground bounce, man. You know, we got Cajun Escape, you know. You can combo in the cards, and you got card loops, and you got the Marvel 1 Infinite reference and stuff like that. Like, he's got stuff, you know, so I went super ham with Gambit. Gambit's, funnily enough, Gambit's trailer is actually one of my favorite trailers to watch, and it's only the second trailer I ever came out with for 2.0. But it's like my favorite trailer. I think it's because of the music, and as well as, like, just how I showcased what all Gambit could do combo-wise. And he's still one of my favorite characters in the game to play. At this point, because of the fact that, like, I think, well, for one, he was the first X-Men character I worked on, and two, he properly showcased like pretty much almost every single mechanic in the game at this point. Um, Obviously wall bounce, obviously ground bounce. He's got link combos. He's got like he can combo after certain supers. Like the dude can do a lot. And what I didn't realize was that this motherfucker was like the best character in the game for about 6 patches straight, or like 20 patches straight. Like he was untouched, and every time I did try to nerf him, he was still really fucking good. Like I did not understand what was wrong with him, at all. And then when I gave him new stuff, he somehow became an even better character than he was before. So
He was unstoppable.
he was unfucking stoppable. And then most recent patch was like, okay, let's make him a normal character this time. And it worked. Like Gambit is not top 10 no more, or top 1. So, well, enough about what the fuck I was saying. Like, what do y'all think about Remy?
I
know-
do not. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So with Remy, it's like you said. I agree with everything you said earlier. He was a pretty just standard like overall character in the official games, and then once MVCX came out, he was just like overtuned a little bit, especially his 2-frame low.
Oh God.
I think that was like one of the things that like for sure made him like top 2 or top 1 in the game, was like just having a 2-frame low and all of his normals having like super high priority and being mega
not-
plus.
Cannot believe you let him get away with a 2-frame low.
I can't believe it either. I'm gonna keep it a bean with you. I did not know that it was that bad. Like until I actually looked at the frame data for every character in the roster. I was like, what in the fuck? How did I let this shit slide for so long?
Bro done
Like-
goofed.
I done goofed.
I remember your first reaction when you were looking at it. You were like, "What the fuck?"
Pretty
Like
much.
2-frame low.
Like,
and I
bro,
was like, "Oh my god!"
bro
Like,
had
yeah,
a
it was a 2-frame
6-frame.
low.
He had a 6-frame sweep, bro. It's like, what the fuck?
His normals
That's
were absolutely
insanity.
cracked.
Like,
And then I think after like toning him down a bit, I think he's probably at the perfect spot right now as well. He's balanced out. He's still got all the tools he has. He's just gotta be a little less brain dead with him.
yeah, like Gambit was a brain dead fucking character for the longest time. Now he's just like, okay, now you actually have to use your you got to use 2 extra brain cells when playing him.
So I think he is in a good spot.
You got any thoughts, Rosario?
I don't have a lot of experience with MVCX Gambit. I've been on the receiving end of Gambit. I've never like really sat down and labbed him. I have more wins against Gambit, but based on what other people were telling me, I believe when people say that he was one of the best characters in the game for a long time. I 100% believe it. He had all the tools, all the movement. We would learn eventually afterwards that he had crazy ass fucking frame data. But yeah, I mean like just playing against him, like completely solid character. Other than that, like I think like just visually, I think you did a good job with Gambit. I don't know when we're gonna see Gambit again officially, so like again, just like I said with Rio, like this might be like one of the best versions of Gambit that we're gonna get for a while.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with where he is right now because he's not a fucking bumbling dumbass character no more. So, I'm pretty good with that. Jill. Jill's only showed up in 1 game, and that was Marvel 2. So
Well, the Stars version of Joe is only
yeah, Stars
showed up in 1
version of
game.
Jill. So he showed up in 2 games, but we're gonna count the Stars version. The Marvel 3's Jill is way different than the Stars Jill. So we're gonna specify just Stars Jill. Stars Jill was mega mid in Marvel 2. Like actually mid AF.
She was a stayer, you know.
Like,
She was a character that existed on the roster.
right.
I like it didn't stop me from playing her because I really like Stars Joe. But like there are so many other characters that do the same thing she can do way better.
Like, bro, she was painfully average. Like, she has some crazy stuff, like, sweep into back, call back zombie if they roll forward. Like, that's cool and all, but they could just not roll. Or the unblockable zombie corner combos and stuff. That's cool, but that's such a specific thing, man. Like, it's like you rarely see Jill at all. She's just one of those characters where it's just like, bro, she's what do you do with her? How do you open people up? You know? But I think that's also just another example of like she was just in a game that just didn't serve her well. Same thing as Ryu. But so when it came to designer in Marvel or MVCX, she actually went through two versions. Like y'all might remember early MVCX 2.0. I was using RE3 Jill. RE3 Jill had some different like a lot of different shit. She had a lot of the same shit from Marvel 2 Jill. The zombie calls, the jumping over the dog and all that stuff. But she also had stuff like air pistol shot, fucking like she had charging star loops with the air pistol shot, grenade launcher ground bounced, fucking she had a knife jump stand HP. She had normals using rifles. Like it was weird. She was a kooky character at first, but her sprites just were kind of off. So I figured if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'm just gonna make it Stars Jill again. That's what I did. I just reworked Jill entirely. I used Stars Jill, and at this point, Jill is she's pretty fun. She's I think she's in that same place as she was in Marvel 2, is that she's super honest, but at the same time, I don't think it's like, I think it's honest in the fact that she's a bit more like refined in what her gameplay style was supposed to be. Like she in Marvel and NBCX, she is like I see her as like a brawler with who happens to have like set play, if that makes any sense. Like she has fast normals, short range but fast normals. She has tools to fight in mid to close range, and then she also has setup tools like the dog and the zombie and the helicopter missile. Like she rang Barry up to drop a nuke on these boots. Like, bro, she rang Barry up. Like, that's not something that you just do so casually. So, but I think at this point, like, I just wanted to make Jill like fresh but familiar. Just give her new stuff. No counter, because I saved that for Leon. So, but I definitely think that at this point in time, she's just super middle of the road. She ended up not like being the same place that she was before. But I remember early on, Jill was fucking busted, yo. Like she was.
Yeah, Jill was great back then, man.
She was cracked. Like
was
charging
insane.
stars was insane on block. Like Mega was whooping our ass with Jill, man. Jill Commando. And now you rarely see her.
I remember Joe Commando. Oh my god.
Like, bro, you try to challenge Charging Star, like, which was unchallengeable anyway, or she would jump over to Charging Star, then call fucking Commando assist, so you have to block the cross up. It was insane.
That shit was insane.
Like, oh my god, Jill was a problem in Marvel or in MVCX. So, like, I was like, okay, I gotta tone the fuck down on Jill. So, but I ended up giving her new stuff. Like, she has a fucking pistol now, like an actual gun. She didn't have a gun before, and she got a shotgun too. So I genuinely think that like Jill is a very interesting character. It's just that she's a character that we just don't see enough. So she's literally in the same place as Marvel 2. Except that she has a lot more going for her in this game than she does in Marvel 2. So
Yeah. I think. Well, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
no, you're fine. I was
My
done.
Discord, my Discord keeps randomly disconnecting me from the call, which is annoying. So I think I'll make this my final thought, and then I'll unfortunately have to go for now.
For sure.
I think your Jill and MVCX is a pretty decent evolution on MVC2 Jill. I think if you played Jill in Marvel 2 at all, picking up Jill in X is relatively easy, and then you were able to give her so much more sauce and like more things to do that she just like feels like it kind of feels like an evolution of a character. It's like if you took Jill from Marvel 2 and was like, hey, this is cool, but it could be better.
Type shit.
That's precisely what MVCX Jill feels like, and I like it. I like it. I actually played Jill in Marvel 2, and like I think she's like okay. Like she's not the best character by any stretch of the imagination. I only played her because I really like Stars Jill like a lot,
Right.
and she was okay. But like Jill in MVCX, like she feels like a much more well-rounded character.
No,
And
she feels a lot more refined than what Marvel 2 Jill was supposed to be.
yeah, she feels like if Marvel 2 Jill locked the fuck in.
Exactly.
It's like,
She's like, all right, time to actually
All
bust
right.
some caps and asses.
Honestly, but I'm gonna go for now because I keep seeing the bars on my little voice thingy continuously go down. It's kind of pissing me off.
Yeah, yeah.
But I had fun. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Enjoy yourself, and I'll see you the next time
Yeah.
I can host one of these.
Yes, please. Earlier, preferably.
Yeah.
All right, you guys enjoy your night.
You too.
Hey,
Enjoy
you too.
yourself. What are your thoughts, Blue? I gotta readjust the stream again.
you know, like just like how y'all were talking about earlier, like Jill, you just gave Jill the tools that she desperately needed. You know, like all the things she had was there, but was not just good enough. You know, it was only okay. So like, for you to like buff it out a bit and be like, you know what, let's make her stand out a bit more, give her a gun, even though that should be an assist, but give her that shotgun, make her moves better overall. I think it was just a very nice, you know, quality of life for her. It stands her out a lot more than she did in Marvel 2. So I'm pretty happy where she is right now as well.
Yeah,
More people
I'm
need to
glad.
use her.
You said what?
I said more people need to use her.
Yeah, she's really fun. I actually have a lot of fun working on her because it's just the fact that like, dude, like she has a gun now.
She got a gun.
She got a gun. Like,
She's
and
serious.
I wanted to like properly showcase like, okay, what if Marvel 2 Jill was more built around set play?
Which makes sense.
Like that's really what I fucking wanted. I was like, what if she was built around set play? So I think I'm pretty satisfied with where she is. Even though she's super honest, I'm a lot more like, I'm at that point where it's just like, okay, she's pretty good. She's not busted. She's like relatively solid. You know, you're just gonna have to make her work a lot harder than other characters because she doesn't have straightforward mix-up tools like Ryu and shit. So, but all in all, I think she's in a decent spot. Like I think she's where she needs to be.
Right.
I
agree with that.
Last character is Iron Fist. So Marvel 3 Iron Fist is interesting. It's funny, like I was talking to my friend about character designs in like fighting games. Kind of like the similar conversation we having now. But we were talking about like like Sakurai and how he designs characters in Smash. He designs characters to have like a character that was kind of designed to fit into one sort of element, and they're really good in that element, but they're horrible in this other element. So, for example, Little Mac is an exceptional grounded character, really good, really fast tilts and normals and stuff like that on the ground. Really good smash attacks that have super armor on them, shield breaks, and whatnot. Some of the best ground dashes in the game, like ground mobility in the game. Really good roll. Like Mac is solid. He's a solid grounded fighter, but it's his weaknesses outweigh their flaws. I mean, outweigh their strengths. Like he's really bad in the air. Horrible recovery. No like strong air game at all, and shitty grab, and just not a lot of ways around projectiles other than jumping. Like
Right.
so, like he's literally one. He's a character that was designed to fit one extreme while being horrible in the other. That's how I feel about Iron Fist in UFC 3. He's literally designed to be like the quintessential grounded, uh, grounded character, like kind of like Ryu, but except that like Iron Fist is more or less about getting in that ass. Pause. No diddy. So that's what Iron Fist was designed to be. He was designed to be like, as soon as I'm in, and now you gotta guess. Um, really good forward lunging normals. Have decent priority, pretty good frame data on them. Like really, like the best ground dash in the game. I think like the best ground dash in the game. Like really
Definitely
good
up
plane
there.
dashing. Um, like solid mix up tools with his overhead stuff. Um, and armor on some of his stuff. Rising Fang is one of the best assists in the game. Um, really good reversal super. Has the same info frames as Bionic Arm. Um, like he's just a solid grounded character. It's just that he's complete and utter dog shit everywhere else. Like he's actually dog shit everywhere else. Great character, really fun character, but he's absolutely horrible in every other sense of the word. That's literally how I feel about Little Mac. And I main Little Mac. He's a fun character, but he's extremely polarizing to play. That's like Iron Fist is an extremely polarizing character to play. Because if you play on one point and you're fighting a Magneto, you're not catching that dude. You better hope he comes
Yeah, no
down to the
way.
ground. So, and that's what I wanted to tackle with Iron Fist and MVCX. I wanted to make the best version of Iron Fist in general. Um, I wanted to make it to where like he's a character who obviously doesn't have any projectiles at all, but what he does is that he has a shit ton of anti-projectile options, and he has really good ground like mix because yeah, like I wanted to emphasize that he's really good at getting in with or like really good at anti-projectiles and mix-ups. So
Right.
and that's why I gave him the best fastball in the game. He has the best fastball in the game, um, in tandem with his normals. Like his jump HP fastball could cross up, like it's incredible. Like he's like I designed him with the intention of like if he gets in, you're more than likely gonna get opened up if you don't know how to defend against him. Like he's that kind of grounded character. That's how I designed Iron Fist. I designed it with the intention of like you're gonna get the hit as soon as you get in, kind of like how Black Panther is in MVCI. And that's kind of how he is in Marvel 3. The thing is though, I wanted to make him more like because in Marvel 3 it's a similar situation to where like if you can force them into a situation to where they have to guess, you pretty much won. Because you have a shit ton of tools to open them up. I just made it easier for him to get in to make that decision or to put the opponent into that situation because that was his biggest problem in 3. He just didn't have no strong way to get in at all other than dashing and blocking, jumping or calling assists, hoping the assist hits.
Mm.
So I wanted to like give him enough tools to stand on his own to where there are risks behind it to do it by yourself, but it's the fact that the rewards outweigh the risks. Um, which is like it's essentially expanding upon what he was in 3 already, and I'm content with it. But it's funny, Iron Fist, in my venture of making Iron Fist better, Iron Fist ended up being like a top 5 character for a long time. like same situation as Gambit. He ended up being a top 5 fucking character for the longest time. I don't know how. He just did. Um, because one of his moves has hyper armor on it, but his MVCI's type hyper armor, and there was a bug where if you try to hit him during the recovery of the move, he would do the move again, and then you would get fucking clapped. Um, Rising Fang is an incredible move in general. The fact that you can act after it is also really good. It's not safe, but it's the fact that you can act after it. It's air okay, which also gives him crazy mobility options, and is an anti-projectile tool. Um, like Iron Fist, it's just I think he's a super well-rounded character in MVCX in general. Um, in terms of like how he conducts his grounded rush down. Um, and then he's also got the power-ups. Iron Fist in general, um, I'm content with where he is, and right now I think he's sitting comfortably in like. Let me look at the tier list again. Uh, current tier list. Where did we put him? Yeah, it was a final 3.0 tier list. Jesus Christ. The last tier list we did before, I don't know if we did another one. Uh Iron Fist is sitting comfortably behind Gambit. He's like top 2. That was the last one we did,
Ridiculous.
and I don't remember if we made an updated tier list after that. I don't think we did.
No, I don't think so. You have to like get toning him down a bit. I mean, I think he is at a good spot as well. I mean, you really do take care of like balance adjustments and do it in a way that you don't kill the character, but you just tone him down to where like he still has the advantages, just not as strong as you were. You know, you have
Yeah.
a really good game design philosophy for their game.
Yeah, like especially when it came to Iron Fist, because it's just like I wanted to make him not trash. I really did. It's just like what was the biggest issue with Iron Fist? You know, like he was horrible at getting in, had no super jump game at all. Like it's just his biggest problem was that he just did not work in the confines of MVC UMVC3. He didn't. If he was an MVCI character, he definitely would have been really good. Absolutely would have been a really solid character in general. But he just wasn't. He wasn't. You know? So it was just pretty much like, what if Iron Fist was an MVCI? It's how I tackle every character. What if this character was an MVCI? What if this character was an MVCI? Okay, this character was an MVCI, but how can I expand upon what they did before? You know, so like Iron Fist in particular was like, okay, he was an MVCI. Or he wasn't an MVCI, so how would he play? Well, obviously his kit would just work way better in the confines of that game system. Um, and I think that's why he ended up being as good as he was, because it's like it's not that he was a horribly designed character. It's just the fact that he was a character designed in a game that just wasn't meant for him. So, just took MVC3 Iron Fist, gave him some new stuff, and put him in MVCI or MVCX, and then boom, he's a high tier. He's a fucking top tier character somehow. So, but yeah, like I think that was just more or less a fault of the fucking that was a fault of the fucking game design in UMVC3.
Right.
So But yeah, like that's I'm pretty satisfied with where he is. I can't really think of anything like that I'm dissatisfied about with Iron Fist. I think he's in a really
Yeah,
good spot. Like
me, really. I think he is too.
like I definitely think that he's not he's still really goddamn good at this point. He's just not nearly as abrasively good as he was before. But he's still really goddamn good. Like I don't think that's gonna change. Like I think he'll still end up being like a I think at worst he'll be like high mid tier. At worst.
And that's a completely fine spot, you know?
Yeah, that's a really good spot for a character like Iron Fist, absolutely. So, uh, anyways, let's read these comics. All
Yeah,
right.
I was gonna say.
Um, AVP boy was like, "Yas." The fuck, bro.
Yes!
Okay. Frosted Moon Tips got to be talking about Ryu here. Yeah, he feels pretty dang nice in AVCX. Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty proud of where Ryu is. Like, I'm glad that I made Ryu enough. Like, I'm glad that I showed how fun Ryu or MVCX is by making Ryu of all characters fucking fun. That's really all I wanted. Street Fighter 6 Ryu super solid. He is. He's really fun. It's really goddamn fun. It just shows you how fun Street Fighter 6 is in general. I play Ryu a lot in MVCX. Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty. I play him. I main him. I main him in that game. Or in this game. Who's Remy? Remy LeBeau. Yeah, we talking about Gambit. Remy's hot. Hey. I mean, hey. Dev is that dude. His insight and character design is OD. I appreciate that, Freeman. Gun. He got to pay his car insurance. The fact that you can cancel any whiffed normal to Shinshoryu with Ryu and AVCX is kind of scary. Yeah, but you can do that with every character, you know? Every character can cancel a whiff normal into some bullshit. Kuma can cancel the whiff normal into fucking Raging Demon if he wanted to. That's scary. But yeah. Um that's really all we have for tonight. For like MVCX after party, I guess you could say, like, you know, just shooting the breeze, talking about MVCI and beyond, and then talking about MVCX character design. I'm gonna be talking about, we're gonna be having more of these. I'm gonna post this entire, like, a edited down version of this on my other channel. And you guys can watch it there. It'll be up early for like Patreon members maybe. Like, I gotta update the Patreon. I haven't put shit on there in a while, so yeah. I'm gonna be showcasing Dormammu progress on there too. So I'll probably put the Patreon and I'll probably update the Patreon and say, hey, I'm gonna be showcasing character progress here, so you guys get early looks at character progress too. So, but yeah, that's I'm glad. Thank you for anybody who stopped through. Like thank Blue Kuma and Rosario for stopping by. It was really fun talking about this stuff because honestly, it's like, you know, it ain't gotta be always like, oh, ain't gotta keep it professional. We could just talk about this shit. We can just shoot the breeze as just people,
Exactly.
not just as game devs or testers and that. So it was like I genuinely have fun doing this, and I will love to keep doing it. I just need to find the time because my schedule is weird. So,
Yeah, mine too.
yeah. So, but we're gonna catch you guys later. I'm probably gonna go get myself ready for bed because it's damn near 12 where
Yeah,
I'm at. So,
it's gotta be one where I'm at.
god
So.
damn. Yeah, so, but thanks to everybody stopping by. And
Thank you so much for watching.
yeah, thank you very much for watching. Again, MVCX build will drop this weekend. Um, I'm probably gonna drop a new trailer for Bison and Magneto if I can find the time to finish it. So I'll drop that trailer along with the big X-Men vs Street Fighter trailer, and at that point, balance changes will be there. There will be a new stage or some new stages that y'all seen. Obviously, Magneto and Bison will be available. So like this is gonna be a big update, big-ish update. Um, and I hope that y'all greatly enjoy it. And yeah, I'm gonna get up out of here.
Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and make sure to support him on Patreon.
Yeah, what he said. What he said. But I'm gonna catch y'all. I'm gonna see y'all when I see y'all. Look forward to that build this Saturday. I said Saturday because I think that's probably I'm gonna aim for Saturday. If not Saturday, then Sunday. So take care of yourselves. And enjoy y'all nights. And yeah, stay smooth as butter. I can't believe I just said that shit. All right, bye.